yeah,
for it.
I will send you. I will send you the PPT. I have made it, but there is some problem in my mobile, so I did not share the screen. I have already made the PPT for Unit 1 according to your syllabus. So I will start now. It is,
Yes.
I think it is visible or not, the screen. Something error. When I will start the screen sharing, there is something error. So I did not share the screen right now. After class finish, I will send the whole PPT, whatever I have made for Unit 1, I will send you. Is it okay? Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So first thing is your introduction to urban geography. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by urban and how it is related to geography? What do you mean by first thing the term urban?
Urban actually mean that is on the census definition. There is 5,000 above population and
Yeah,
density
yeah,
will be
yeah.
400 and above.
400
And
kilometer per
and
square kilometer and above.
above and
Okay.
there is a the activity of the people are should be secondary or tertiary. That is
Yeah,
75%
yeah,
activity should be tertiary,
correct.
secondary.
Yeah. Anyone can else? Okay. Urban geography is this subdiscipline of the geography that derives from a study of cities and urban processes. Then tell me what is the urban processes? Urban processes क्या होता है? Urban
Urban
processes
process,
क्या होता है?
urban process means that is managing the urban activity that is
Yeah, that managing the urban activities like your secondary and tertiary activities. Okay. Urban geography is the study of the development of cities and towns and people in them. In other words, we can see why cities were built, how they are connected, and how they have changed and will continue to change. Then in
uh,
1950, 30% of the people lived in cities. Today, almost 60% of the world lives in cities. This is a considerable jump and is inactivate of major changes in the way people want to live, work, and interact with each other. It may be sound complicated, but urban geography provides tools to understand the relationship between people and the city, including all the challenges that can arise and possible solution to overcome them. A city, what do you mean by city? A city is a collection of people, services, and infrastructure that can be a center for economy, your politics, and your culture. Usually, a population of over several thousand people is considered a city. Urban refers to both central cities and surrounding suburban areas. Can anyone can give me the example of the urban areas which is connected both central cities and surrounding suburban areas? Any city's name? Can you tell me
that
which
is
is referred to a urban? Yes,
Bhubaneswar Brahmaputra municipal area,
yeah, Bhubaneswar,
Barampur, Sambalpur. These are the
Noida.
municipal.
Barampur, Sabalpur,
Yes.
Noida,
Yes,
NCR,
ma'am.
ma'am.
NCR, yes, National Capital Region. Delhi is an urban center and it is connected with two to three, your suburban Faridabad, Noida, and Gurgaon. Okay, it is the biggest example of urban area. Therefore, when we refer to urban concept, we include everything connected to a city. Then what is urbanization? अर्बन से अर्बनाइजेशन कैसे होगा अर्बनाइजेशन मीन्स इट इज a process of towns and cities growing. In this case we refer to speed to explain urbanization. For instance, while urbanization is occurring slowly in Europe, many countries like in Africa and urbanizing quickly. कोई रीजन है जिस तरह से अर्बनाइजेशन स्लोली क्यों यूरोप में है एंड अफ्रीका में क्विकली क्यों अर्बनाइजेशन हो रहा है रीजन कुछ है
Yes, Europe is an ancient,
हाँ
actually ancient process, but
हाँ
Africa actually this is colonized, and the process actually that is already happening, and the business and other hubs are planning to explore the Africa, so that to explore the natural resources, so that the big towns are
यस यस
uh,
ट्रू करेक्ट Correct. This is due to the rapid migration of residents from rural areas to urban areas for more job opportunities, while in urban population that have remained consistent in Europe already have settled everything. Geographers and urban planners study urban geography to understand how and why city change. For instance, people move in and create opportunity for new development, such as building new homes and jobs, or people move out due to lack of jobs, resulting in less development and deteriorations. Concern this about the sustainability, it have also begun to arise as pollution, climate change, which are nowadays it's the most threatening the quality of life in cities. All of these factors make and change cities all the time. What are the key concept of urban geography? Concept क्या है? Now in current days, in the beginning, the history of urbanization and city, especially in the context of current day globalization, which can explain why cities were built and where they may develop further. Globalization क्या है? Globalization is the process of the interconnectivity of economic, political, and social processes between countries. Cities are connected through major patterns like your political, economic, and social connectivity. Looking to deeper, each city has a unique development pattern and is influenced by different factors at local and international level. Suppose, for example, you can say that Delhi and Bhubaneswar, okay, they have a unique development. You cannot compare that Delhi is very much similar to Bhubaneswar. Okay, they have a unique development pattern and Delhi have a unique development level pattern at local and international level. City design pattern can be understood through your hierarchical levels, with each level requiring a different set of priorities. Urban data, such as your census data collected every 10 years, allow planners and politicians to observe change and project the needs of urban residents. This is especially important as the risk of climate change threatens the quality of life in the city, requiring sustainability projects and approaches to guide the next step. What is urbanization in geography? Urbanization in geography means when the most of the cities did not start developing until after the development of sedentary agriculture. What do you mean by sedentary agriculture? Where
sentiments.
the people,
That is
yeah, yeah, tell.
that is settled in a area, particular area, so that agriculture is
Particular
perceived
area for a longer period.
longer
Okay.
period. Yes, yes.
Yeah, people settled in one place for longer period of time. This was the shift from hunting, gathering behavior. Early human settlements around 10,000 years ago usually took the form of agricultural villages, small clusters of people involved in various agricultural practices. 10,000 years पहले क्या था before? Small agricultural villages होते थे क्योंकि they are basically depend on their agricultural practices. उनका मेन सोर्स ऑफ अर्निंग एग्रीकल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस हंटिंग ये सबसे होता था तभी उस टाइम में ना सेकेंडरी टर्शियरी क्वार्टनरी था ही नहीं ठीक है this new way of living allowed for greater productivity and a surplus of agricultural products which gave people an opportunity to trade and organize. Urbanization took shape in different forms depending on the region and social condition. For instance, feudal cities. Feudal cities in Europe means roughly around 200 to 1300 AD. These cities experienced stagnation as these areas served as either military strongholds or religious enclaves which were typically culturally and economically homogeneous. However, around the same time in Mesoamerica, Tenochtitlan, now known as Mexico City, which is Mexico, was experiencing a thriving and prosperous period thanks to major infrastructure project and cultural development. This was the case for other cities in Asia, the Middle East, and the South America. By the late 1800s, the trade, colonialism, and industrializations transformed cities through rapid migration and urbanization. Historically, strategic location along coastline and riverways, such as your New York cities and London, they are called gateway cities for their proximity to ports and the entry of product and people. With the invention of the railroad, other cities like Chicago and were able to grow as people and product could move more easily. देन आपका है मेगालोपोलिसिस मेगा सिटीज ये वाला नेक्स्ट उसमें पढ़ाऊंगी मैं ये वाला देन व्हाट इज द स्कोप ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी. The scope of urban geography encompasses most aspects of what urban planners and urban geographers need to study. What do you mean by urban planners? Can anyone tell me? Urban planners होते क्या? Can anyone tell me? Urban planners? No, no one can answer. Urban planners होते क्या हैं? Urban planners means suppose in a city area, if we can build a house or a structure, so it before that it is need to be a planning in a proper way. In which area the drainage pattern should be go, in which area there is an gas pipeline connections, in which area there is a proper planning when you start a building a new building or approaches to new housing. Before that, we can planning in a proper way. This include the origin and evolution of these cities, including model of the city structure, links between infrastructure, transportations, demographic makeup and development. To better understand this concept, it's useful to create links to the historical context of when and why cities evolved. Urban geography is the study of history and development of cities and towns and the people in them. Geographers and urban planners study urban geography to understand how and why city change. जैसे कि हम लोग पहले भी हिस्ट्री में पढ़ा करते थे कि 10,000 साल पुराने पहले सिटीज, जैसे कि आपका हड़प्पा संस्कृति एंड मोहनजोदड़ो, वो पहले क्या उस टाइम पे सिटी हुआ करती थी, लेकिन आज के समय में वो सारे लैंडस्केप चेंज्ड है। किस लिए चेंज्ड है, क्यों चेंज्ड है, ये सब लर्निंग करने के लिए ज्योग्राफर्स और अर्बन प्लानर स्टडी करते हैं ये सब चीजों को लेके। cities which are connected through major patterns of historical, कहीं पहले होता है ना जहाँ पे हिस्टोरिकल कुछ चीजें होती थी, कहीं पे सोशल कनेक्टिविटी होता था, कहीं पे जैसे कि सी पोर्ट होता था, लोगों को ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए वहां पे पहले सिटीज कनेक्टेड होते थे। सिटीज आर बिकमिंग इंक्रीजिंगली इंटरकनेक्टेड थ्रू ग्लोबलाइजेशन। The formation of city can be attributed to major site and situations factor. ये साइट फैक्टर्स रिलेट्स टू द क्लाइमेट, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस हो गया आपका, लैंडफॉर्म्स हो गया, एब्सोल्यूट लोकेशन ऑफ ए प्लेस हो गया। ये सिचुएशन फैक्टर्स रिलेट्स टू कनेक्शन बिटवीन प्लेस और पीपल, फॉर एग्जांपल योर रिवर एंड रोड। Urban geography is the study of urban areas and cities, their development, spatial pattern and interaction within the surrounding environment. It examines the sites and evolution of cities and towns as well as their morphology, classification and the economic and social impact of urbanization. स्कोप में क्या है? Urban geography are concerned to identify and explain the distribution of town and cities and the socio-spatial similarities and constraints that exist within and between them. Two basic approaches to urban geography. The first one is it refers to the spatial distribution of towns and cities and the linkages between them. The study of the system of cities. Second refers to the internal structure of urban place, the study of city as a system. According to the urban geographer Orosio in 1924 was among the first one who gave an outline of the subject matter of the urban geography. He is of the view that since this part of geography embraces a large part of human geography, it fails to be a specialized subject and therefore is not sure about the nature of urban geography. But after analyzing various approaches, he concludes that the regional study of town and their functional study do form an important components of its scope. This gave inputs to the site and situation and functional approaches within this discipline. One of the pioneer scholars in urban study in India is R.L. Singh, has stressed on three broad categories under this scope. That is, first one is your the physical structure of the city. पहले तो किसी भी सिटी को अगर हम जानने की कोशिश करें, पहले ये जानना जरूरी है कि उस सिटी का फिजिकल स्ट्रक्चर क्या था, ठीक है, उसका लैंडस्केप क्या था। सेकेंड है द स्टेज ऑफ इट्स हिस्टोरिकल डेवलपमेंट। लैंडस्केप जानने के बाद वो हिस्टोरिकल, उसका हिस्टोरिकल डेवलपमेंट में क्या उसका सिटी का सॉरी सिटी का हिस्टोरिकल डेवलपमेंट में क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन था। थर्ड वन इज द प्रोसेसेस इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द स्ट्रक्चर। कौन कौन सा प्रोसेसेस इसको इन्फ्लुएंस किया इस सिटी को बनाने के लिए। Over the period of time, the scope of urban geography has extended and now basically include the areal association of activities within urban places, the economic base of cities, जैसे कि आपका pattern of distribution of cities over the earth surface, distribution of different geographical phenomena within the city and the spatial interaction of one city with another. Then approaches in urban geography. In your IGNOU course book, the approaches in urban geography is mentioned 4 to 5, 6 points. I did not see it, but I have made these approaches in 3 ways. After the class finishes, whatever is left in Unit 1, Chapter 1, according to your syllabus, I will teach each and everything at the end of the class. Okay, whatever is left, because I have made it this PPT according to your just syllabus. I did not read the your study material. In the study material there is some other points are mentioned. I will also taught that different approaches and everything I will teach. Approaches in urban geography.
Madam,
There are three approaches. Yes,
madam, actually
yes.
screen is not visible at all. ଆପଣ ଯଦି ମତେ
I
ସେୟାର କରିଦେବେ PPT ମୁଁ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ସେୟାର
हाँ
କରିଦିଅନ୍ତି ଏଠି।
अच्छा ठीक अच्छे. Okay, 1 second. 1 second I will share. ଗୋଟେ second କରୁଛି. I will send you in group that one. Group ରେ send
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ
କରିଦେବି.
ମୁଁ ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ନାହିଁ, ଆପଣ ନମ୍ବରଟା କହିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍ କରିଦେଉଛି, ଆପଣ ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେବେ ଇମିଡିଏଟଲି।
ନମ୍ବରଟା ମୋର 9268196153.
92681
9296,153. I will send you immediately.
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ଜୋଗ୍ରାଫି
ୟେସ୍
କିଛି
ମ୍ୟାମ୍
ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଛି
କାଇଣ୍ଡଲି
କି?
ଚେକ୍।
ଗୋଟେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ମୁଁ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ଟା ଦେଇଦିଏ ତାପରେ ମୁଁ କଥା ହଉଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କ
ଓକେ
ସହିତ। ଗୋଟେ ହଁ Sandeep, I have sent you. Please check it. Maybe I think it will take some time to download. Yeah, ଆଉ କଣ କିଏ ଗୋଟେ କଣ କହୁଥିଲେ ପଚାରୁଥିଲେ ଆଜ୍ଞା କୁହନ୍ତୁ।
ହଁ ଜୋଗ୍ରାଫିର କିଛି ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଛି କି ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ?
ହଁ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫିର ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ୍ ସେମିଷ୍ଟରରେ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଥିଲା, ସେଥିରେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଗ୍ରୁପ କରାହେଇଥିଲା।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ ସେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ନାହିଁ ତ ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ, ତ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରୁନି କ୍ଲାସ୍ ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଏଇଗୁଡ଼ା ମୋର ମିସ୍ ହେଇଯାଉଛି।
ନା ନା ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଥିଲା। Sandeep, you find that PPT?
ୟେସ୍ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଏ ମିନିଟ୍।
Okay. This PPT I have made my own according to your syllabus, but after seeing your study material, so it will just different to my PPT. I have skipped some of this little bit subheading, so I will conclude that also. Approaches, there is three type of approaches. First is your locational approach. In location approach is the most important in urban geography because it is to study of any place. Location का मतलब पता है? Location किसी भी चीज को करने के लिए go to page number 22. Go to page number 22. Yeah, yeah. Now everyone can see. Yes, ma'am. Okay, fine. Then it will be fine. Sandeep can share the screen. Then location is the very important approaches in urban geography because whenever we can go to any place or it will be a first important thing to identify the location. आप लोगों को पता होगा कि मोबाइल पे भी लोकेशन रहता है ट्रैक करने के लिए कि हम कहाँ पे जा रहे हैं, हम कौन से प्लेस जा रहे हैं। अगर हम किसी भी लोकेशंस को ढूँढना चाहते हैं, तो हम जीपीएस लगा देते हैं कि उस लोकेशंस को पर्टिकुलरली ढूँढने के लिए। तो लोकेशनल अप्रोच इज़ वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट इन अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। Site and situational assets gave rise to the study of the role of cities in the cultural landscape. A city is in the capital of kingdom or an empire, entire of pilgrimage, a port city. Fishing time हो गया आपका industrial center हो गया all these attribute of cities related to their location. Locational approach is not a static but a dynamic method of inquiry. In particular, the locational approach offer a useful framework for generating normative theory, which is termed as a significant implications for the spatial planning of emerging urban landscape. सेकेंड आपका जो है रीजनल अप्रोच लोकेशन अप्रोच था फर्स्ट वन देन सेकेंड वन इज द रीजनल अप्रोच रीजनल अप्रोच में संदीप नेक्स्ट स्लाइड रीजनल अप्रोच में a city is a focal point of wider region and every town and city has its कॉनोटनियन ट्रिब्यूटरी एरिया जैसे कि आपका टाउन हो गया सिटी हो गया दैट एग्जिट नॉट ओनली ऑन देयर इंडिविजुअल प्रोडक्टिव बेस बट ऑल्सो ऑन द वन हैंड and the rural village on the other hand. City region is an essentially a functional region where the functional relationship between city and region are manifold and each specific function of city has associated with regional dimension. वो regional approach कौन से 2 points को मतलब the regional approaches discuss two important facts. First one is your rural urban fringe of the city. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by the rural urban fringe? ये आपका आगे भी है सेकेंड या थर्ड चैप्टर में रूरल अर्बन फ्रिंज फ्रिंज क्या होता है
In transitional area.
Yeah, fringe is an transactional area. सपोज रूरल और अर्बन के अंदर कौन सा ट्रांजिशनल एरिया आता है ठीक है सिटी का द एनालिसिस ऑफ द लेवल ऑफ अर्बनाइजेशन एंड एसेप्ट्स ऑफ द प्रोसेसेस ऑफ urbanization in different regions in the country. Major focus of regional approach is by linking the study of rural with the study of urban place and understanding and planning for socio-economic development of both rural and urban area. Third one is your spatio-structural approaches. Spatio-structural approaches में क्या है? The cities has several focal points with it. The main market, railway stations and bus stand, educational institute, medical institutions, all focal points are linked with the residential area of reach and poor people. The city is heterogeneous in terms of population, composition, and complex land use structure. It is unified by its mode of transportation and communications, land, roads, building, and people all form part of the city structure. This approach focuses on the intricate patterns of land use in commercial, industrial, and residential area. They examine the population segregation of the city, population into zones, localities, and mohallas. They study the distribution of population density within the city or decline of land values from city center to the periphery. Urban geography is a new branch of geography Urban geography is a new branch of geography which developed in 20th century for the first time by Mr. Karl Marx had given the outline of urban geography in 1907. Urban geography as a discipline evolved in the 20th century. Over the time, it has developed into a well established discipline which deals with the study of urban settlement within the framework of their geographical setting. According to the urban geographer Raymond E. Murphy in 1966 goes a step further and state that urban geographer always play a dual role. Dual role क्या है? Firstly, he examines that cities in the context of location, characteristics, growth and their relationship with its hinterland. ठीक है, उन्होंने सिटी को एग्जामिन किया किसके साथ, लोकेशन के साथ, उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, उसके ग्रोथ, उसके रिलेशनशिप विद इट हिंटरलैंड. हिंटरलैंड क्या होता है? व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय हिंटरलैंड? हिंटरलैंड, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय हिंटरलैंड?
Ma'am, remote areas.
Yes, it is a remote areas. And secondly, he discusses cities morphology in terms of land use हो गया, आपका social and cultural landscape हो गया, circulations pattern and also the components of the physical environment. All this in interrelations and interactions within the urban area. This clearly states that the process of evolutions of urban geography is quite complex. According to Worf in 2000, he identifies six elements that form the base of urban geography. These are: first one is your the built environment, second is your human environment relationship in an urban context, third is your social geography and social pattern in an urban context, fourth one is your city systems and functions, means in your macro scale. Same thing, city system and function in your micro scale. Sixth one is your urban planning, policy and design. The following characteristics that can be identified to define a place in the form of urban. These are: a place designated by the administrative status. हम एक जगह को तभी अर्बन बोलेंगे जब उस वो जगह किसी भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टेटस से डेजिग्नेटेड किया हो, उसका मिनिमम पॉपुलेशन होना चाहिए, मिनिमम पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी होना चाहिए एंड a concept of reconciliations or losing loose dealing settlements to join or exclude suburban areas, then proportion of non-agriculture occupation, and last one is a functional character. In case of our country like India, the census of 1981 has said that the following places are urban: municipal, city board, cantonment board, notified town area center, a minimum population of 5,000, 75% of men engaged in non-agricultural activities, and a minimum population density per square kilometer person 400 or 1,000 square kilometer per person. There are three distinct historical stages in the development of cities. क्या क्या stages हैं? First one is your pre-industrial, second one is your industrial, third one is your metropolitan or megalopolitan stage. Pre-industrial cities, प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज में आप सबको पता होगा कि ये प्री इंडस्ट्रियल में आपको जाना होगा हिस्ट्री पे, ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री पे, जहाँ पे People roamed about to search their subsistence while they gather edible plant, feast and hunt. Our ancestors could never find enough food in one area to sustain themselves for an extended period of time. Consequently, they had to keep moving until they could find another place in which to settle temporarily. Eventual technological improvements such as your simple tools and information how to farm and raise animals allowed people to settle in one place. They built village while with perhaps only a few hundred people living in each, and for the following 5,000 years they produced just enough food for themselves with nothing more in reserve. About 5,000 years ago, however, human developed such innovations such as your irrigation, metallurgy, and animal drawn plows. These developments allowed farmers to produce an excess of food beyond their immediate needs. The resulting surplus of food led some people to make their living in other ways. For instance, by making pottery, weaving, and engaging in other non-agriculture activities that they could sell or exchange with others for the surplus food. As a result, people moved off the farms, commerce developed, and cities began to form. The next is your प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज के एग्जाम्पल कौन कौन से हैं? जैसे कि आपका फर्टाइल लैंड्स अलोंग रिवर इन द मिडिल ईस्ट, आपका इजिप्ट हो गया, चाइना वेयर क्वाइट स्मॉल कंपेयर टू टुडे सिटीज. मोस्ट प्री इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज हाउस्ड fewer than 10,000 inhabitants. Other like Rome may have contained as many as several hundred thousand people. इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज में क्या है? द इंडस्ट्रियल सिटीज was larger and more densely populated and more diverse than its pre-industrial counterpart. It contained many people of varying background, interest, and skills who lived and worked together in a defined amount of space. In the industrial city, it also served as a commercial center because it is supporting many businesses and factories. The latter, it attracted large number of immigrants from other countries hoping to better themselves by securing stable work and finding a fresh start. The last is your sorry. Last आपका है metropolis and megalopolis cities. As larger industrial cities spread outward in the early 1900s. They formed metropolis. Metropolis means large city that includes surrounding suburbs, which are land outside the city limits, usually with separate governance. While some suburbs become distinct city in and of themselves, the retain strong geography, strong economic and cultural ties to their parent cities. कोई एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हो? किसी सिटी का नाम बोल सकते हो? मेट्रोपोलिस सिटीज कौन है इंडिया में? जो लार्ज सिटीज तो है बट उसके उसके आसपास सराउंडिंग सबर्ब्स भी हैं जो कि पेरेंट सिटी, जो लार्ज सिटी होता है उसके साइड में वो जितना सारा इकोनॉमिक कल्चरल टाइज है वो सराउंडिंग सिटी या पेरिफेरी को भी कनेक्टेड होता है. कैन एनीवन गिव द एग्जांपल?
मैडम बैंगलोर.
Mumbai
क्या
also.
हुआ? मुंबई,
Mumbai.
यस मुंबई,
Ahmedabad.
बैंगलोर.
बैंगलोर और
मैम कलकत्ता
मेजर
में तो
Chennai,
हाँ
Kolkata,
हाँ, मेजर सिटी मेट्रोपोलिस सिटी में जितना आपके दिल्ली, मुंबई, कोलकाता, चेन्नई, ये सारे आपके मेट्रोपोलिस सिटी में, लार्जेस्ट सिटी में आ ही जाएंगे। ठीक है। The upper and middle classes ultimately brought about the so-called fight to the suburbs. As economy goes increasing blocked cities in the later half of the 1900s, 19th century, many families decided to move out of their inner city neighborhoods and into the suburbs. The ability to afford an automobile also influenced this migration. Beginning in the 1970s, most suburbs were largely bedroom communities, which means that suburban residents commuted into the city to work and shop and then return to the suburb. होता है ना कि पेरीफेरी से आते हैं बिजनेस करने के लिए अपना शॉप कहाँ पे सिटी होता है सिटी में आते हैं वो लोग क्या करते हैं डेली कॉम्यूट करते हैं फ्रॉम लार्ज सिटी आते हैं अपना बिजनेस करके फिर सराउंडिंग एरिया में रिटर्न कर जाते हैं देन आपका है ये वाला छोड़ दीजिए। Then a city, page number 36. A city was a dense settlement of people working in specialized occupation. The rural area surrounding a city is known as hinterland. Hinterland have long been focused on primary sectors such as your agriculture, timber, mining, and other forms of raw material extraction. The hinterland supplied this raw material to the city, and the city provided goods and services for its hinterland. नेक्स्ट वन इज योर आपका अर्बन सेटलमेंट अर्बन सेटलमेंट क्या है और उसका क्लासिफिकेशन जो भी स्किप हो रहा है अकॉर्डिंग टू सिलेबस आई विल कवर डोंट वरी अर्बन सेटलमेंट क्या है व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय अर्बन सेटलमेंट अर्बन तो आपको पता है व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय सेटलमेंट हाउ इट इज कनेक्टेड विद अर्बन A variety of non-agricultural, economic, and administrative activities are carried out by the urban communities, which are often compact and large in size. Urban area means urban areas where have a higher standard of living. The scope of facilities increases with the size of urban settlement. As a result, this metropolitan area have a wider impact. Urban areas have more potential development than rural areas. Lastly, urbanization is the process of converting a rural areas into a urban areas. In urban areas are classified as city based on their size, services offered, and function performed. First one is your town. Town क्या होता है? There is not much to separate a city from a village. The key element is access to resources. In towns, the construction and infrastructure are slightly better compared to village. Basic amenities are offered more often in towns. Cities क्या होता है? Cities are quite large and have more people than towns. They serve bigger economic purposes. They are more developed systems for transportations, quality of life, education, etc. थर्ड है आपका कॉन्वर्जेंस इसको हम मेट्रोपोलिस भी बोलते हैं दिस टर्म्स मेट्रोपोलिस refers to extensive merged urban settlement initially क्या होता है these towns are or cities were divided. Cities such as Tokyo and Greater London are examples of this metropolis. Then है आपका megalopolis means great city A megalopolis is a very dense cluster of many cities. Another name is hypermetropolitan. A classic example is an urban area that stretches from Boston. Where is Boston? In which country?
US, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Boston in the north to Washington in the south of the US. Million city क्या है? A city is said to be a million city when its population exceeds 1 million. There are now 1 million cities worldwide, which is a record number. London became the first city with 1 million inhabitants in 18th century, followed by Paris in 1850, New York in 1860, and more than 80 such cities by 1950. Then है आपका अर्बन सिस्टम एंड थ्योरीज. ठीक है. अर्बन सिस्टम एंड थ्योरीज. थ्योरीज बेसिकली मैंने पीपीटी में 3 डाला हुआ है, लेकिन उसके बाद भी आपके बहुत सारे थ्योरीज हैं, जैसे कि ग्रोथ पोल थ्योरी मैंने आपके स्टडी मटेरियल में देखा. ग्रोथ पोल थ्योरी है, क्रिस्टल थ्योरी है, वो भी मैं पढ़ाऊंगी. मैंने देखा नहीं था तो मैंने अपने से वो 3 बना दिए हैं. इसको भी आप देख लीजिए थोड़ा सा, लेकिन मैं आपके जो स्टडी मटेरियल में जो है मैं उसको भी पढ़ाऊंगी आपको. The urban system. ये जो urban system concept, it was first introduced by Brian J.L. Barry in 1964 through his influential work, City as a System Within Systems of Cities. This concept suggests that urban areas are not isolated entities but are instead interconnected through various relationships with other towns and cities. फर्स्ट था कंसेंट्रेटिक जोन थ्योरी. ठीक है. द कंसेंट्रेटिक जोन स्कीम जो था, इसको हम थ्योरी भी बोलते हैं, स्कीम भी बोलते हैं, मॉडल भी बोलते हैं. Urban land use was propounded by E.W. Burgess. ये वाला इम्पोर्टेंट है, आपको कभी भी जैसे कि आप यूजीसी नेट वगैरह कभी भी देते हो तो ये सब आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव में आता है. Who propounded the theory concentric zone? तो ये कौन सा ईयर भी आता है? Burgess. He is an American urban sociologist in the year 1925 on the basis of the study of American cities in general and Chicago in particular. Burgess' concept was first published at the growth of this city. An introduction to a research project, a chapter in the book The City, written with R.E. Park in 1925. It is known as the concentric zone model or zonal theory of urban land use pattern. It is one of the earliest theoretical models to explain urban social structures. It is also the earliest descriptive urban land use model which divides cities in a set of concentric circles expanding from the downtown to the suburbs. It is based on the concept that the development of a city takes place outward from its central area to form a series of concentric zone. ये आपका इमेज है कंसेंट्रेटिक जोन मॉडल. बेसिकली ये 5 जोन है. यहाँ पे 6, कहीं कहीं पे आपको 6 भी मिलेंगे, 5 भी मिलेंगे. ये जो बर्जेस मॉडल है, इट इज द अर्लीस्ट थियोरेटिकल मॉडल टू एक्सप्लेन अर्बन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर. उस टाइम पे अर्बन सोशल स्ट्रक्चर किस टाइप के होते थे? जो है, जो बीच वाला है, जिस येलो सीबीडी, सेंट्रल बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट, जो बीच में है, नंबर 1 इज द सेंट्रल बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट, नंबर 2 इज द फैक्ट्री जोन, Number three is a zone of transaction. Number four is a working class zone. Number five is a residential zone. Number six is a commuter zone. Zone one, central business district. It is the most inner circle. Yes, yes, Rashmita.
Ma'am, is it the internal structure of the urban city, the
Yeah, it
model?
is an internal, inner core. Okay.
Thank you.
इट इज द मोस्ट इनर सर्कल मतलब जैसे कि सपोज आप ले लो फॉर एग्जांपल भुवनेश्वर तो भुवनेश्वर का इनर सर्कल कौन सा होगा आप बताओ इनर सर्कल भुवनेश्वर का कौन सा होगा मास्टर कैंटीन
हाँ हाँ, मतलब
ठीक है
जो सेंट्रल।
यस यस मास्टर कैंटीन ये तो पटिया इस तरफ तो ये तो सब आप हमारे वो हो गए पेरीफेरी हो गए ये तो बाद में डेवलप किया पहले क्या था मास्टर कैंटीन दैट दैट इज आप अगर सिटी में किसी को मेन स्ट्रक्चर इनर बोलोगे तो वही चीज पहले आता था ठीक है हाट जैसे दिल्ली की जो हाट है कन्नॉट प्लेस सिटी का है
अच्छा,
ना बीच में इसी तरह
जो न्यूली
इट इज द
डेवलप्ड है वो इसमें नहीं आता है मैम, जो न्यूली
हाँ नहीं
डेवलप्ड है।
नहीं ये जो मॉडल था ये तो मतलब बर्जेस ने 1900 जब न्यूली मतलब डेवलप हो रहा था सिटी वगैरह तभी उन्होंने मॉडल को बनाया था अभी तो डिफरेंट हो गया ना सारा चीज अभी
ओके,
तो ये
थैंक
एक्सपैंड कर रहा है ना
यू। ठीक है, थैंक
it is the most inner circle forming the core of the city in chicago it is known as loop burgess model has also termed the zone as loop in New York, it is known as downtown. In this zone, where most of the tertiary employment is located and also transport infrastructure is converging, making this zone most accessible. CBD is the focus of commercial, social, and civic life. This zone is characterized by a large number of skyscrapers, buildings mostly engaged in commercial activities like retail trade, business हो गया, departmental stores, hotels, restaurants, banks, offices, clubs, theater, etc. In America, it occupies the least space and most part is non-residential. जोन टू में आपका क्या है जोन टू है आपका जोन ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शन दिस जोन एनसर्कल द कोर और द सीबीडी ऑफ द जोन वन ठीक है ये जो जोन टू है ये सेंटर जो कोर एरिया का कुछ हिस्सा को एनसर्कल किया है इन दिस ट्रांजेक्शनल जोन ओल्डर प्राइवेट हाउसेस are either in the process of being taken over for offices and the light industries or in the processes of subdivision to form smaller dwelling units. This is the area where the city to which immigrants are attracted. This zone is always changing in character as a businesses and light manufacturing encroach into this zone of residential deterioration. It is inhabited by poor people and laborers who work in business or light manufacturing. It has old structure houses, availability of room on rent, low income people and narrow street. It is characterized by vice area inhabited by unstable social group rather by settled family. In America, it contained the poorest segment of the urban population, notably first generation immigrants. In June 3rd, zone of working men's houses means this is the third concentric circle inhabited by the workers in industries who have escaped from the area of deportations but who desire to live within easy access to their work. This zone has the advantage of being located near the major zone of employment. Some older residential buildings in the cities are found in this zone. In Chicago, this zone is dominated by two-story building in which house owner live in the lower story while the upper story was given to tenant. The inhabitants of this zone work either in the business activities of CBD or in the light manufacturing. Houses of medium income group people are found in this zone. In Zone 4, zone of better residence means it encircling Zone 3 is the zone of better residence. It is a residential area of high class apartment buildings or exclusive restricted district of single family dwellings. The people living here are engaged in a certain professions like bank, commercial institutions, managers, clerks, etc. The multi-room dwellings of this zone have vast open space in front of their houses, which is used for gardening. In Zone 5, it is a commuter's zone. Means, according to Burgess, it is the outermost circle beyond the city limits. It is known as commuter zones, suburban area or satellite cities. People inhabiting this zone daily commute to the main city for work. It is characterized by high class residents developed along lines of rapid travel. The residents are widely spaced and there are open space between two houses. Here, expensive houses are located in a rural area and suburbanized setting. Here, there is still the open country and form of village changing in character and function to become dormitory settlement for commuters who travel to work in the city. Commuting costs are the highest prior to the mass diffusion of the automobile. Most of these settlements were located next to railway station. What are the main points of Burgess model? क्या क्या मेन पॉइंट्स था? फर्स्ट पॉइंट, ये जो मॉडल में उन्होंने बताया है, फर्स्ट पॉइंट आपका जो सिटी सेंटर है, सिटी सेंटर कहाँ पे होगा? आपका सीबीडी में होगा. City center characterized by business activities and light manufacturing, which is also zone of employment. Second है आपका जो encircling city centers are the zone of different class resident. Third आपका है poor people prefer to live near their place of work where living conditions are poor. Fourth point है as we move away from inner city towards the periphery, gradually better class residential dwellings are found. What are the criticism of Burgess model? क्या क्या नेगेटिव थे उनके मॉडल में? फर्स्ट था this model does not work well with cities outside United States, particularly with those developed under different historical context. Even in the United States, due to advancement in transportations and information technology, and also due to the transformations of the global economic, cities are no longer organized with clear zones. It explains peculiar American cities where the inner city is poor while the suburbs are wealthy. In some countries, just reverse situation is observed. In Burgess model, it assumed that an isotropic plane and even unchanging landscape, while physical features may restrict the growth of a town in certain directions or make some locations, for example, location along river front or sea front desirable for residential purposes. जैसे कि हमारा एग्जाम्पल ले लो कटक, उसका क्या रेस्ट्रिक्ट है, ना वो आगे बढ़ सकता है ना कुछ कर सकता है, दोनों साइड में रिवर है. इसलिए तो कटक क्या हुआ, कैपिटल था ना पहले उड़ीसा का. शिफ्ट किया गया क्यों भुवनेश्वर को? क्योंकि वो और डेवलप नहीं कर सकता है, क्योंकि उसके पास लैंडस्केप ही नहीं है डेवलप करने के लिए। बोथ साइड से रिवर ही है। इन मेनी
Excuse me,
सिटीज, या
uh, what is clear zone?
क्लियर जोन, where it is mentioned,
Ma'am,
I have
second
read it.
point. Yes, ma'am, second
Second,
point. It is.
even in US, due to advancement in the transportations, also transportation government, cities are known. Acha, transformations of the global economy, cities are no longer organized with clear zone. Clear zone means जहाँ पे आपका जैसे कि सपोज आपका सीबीडी रह गया बीच में, सेकेंड
हाँ,
स्टेप आपका आ गया, उसके नीचे वाला जोन जो है कौन सा वाला, सेकेंड स्टेज में कौन सा है सेकेंड जोन? सीबीडी के बाद
resident
फर्स्ट के बाद सेकेंड कौन सा है आपका?
फैक्ट्री जोन जिसमें हम
या फैक्ट्री जोन भी है और है जोन ऑफ ट्रांजिशन, वो दोनों मिला हुआ है, फैक्ट्री एंड जोन ऑफ ट्रांजिशन। तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना कि यहाँ पे आपका कुछ भी क्लियरली जो फैक्ट्री जोन होता है, ट्रांजिशनल जोन होता है, उसको हमेशा देखना वो कभी भी क्लैरिटी के साथ, मतलब जो क्या बोलते हैं क्लैरिटी के साथ नहीं होता है उनका, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एक सेकेंड,
Permanent
प्लानिंग,
boundary.
सॉरी, या प्लानिंग, उनका कुछ क्लैरिटी नहीं होता है। जो सेकंड और थर्ड फैक्ट्री जोन में कुछ क्लैरिटी, उनका बाउंड्रीज नहीं होता है, उनका कुछ फॉर्मेलिटीज नहीं होता है, प्रॉपर प्लानिंग नहीं होता है, इसलिए वो वाला नो लॉन्गर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड विथ क्लियर जोन। क्लियर जोन के साथ उनका कुछ लिंक ही नहीं रहता है। जितना सारा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होता है, जितना इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, ये सब।
ठीक है, thank you.
फिफ्थ पॉइंट है आपका, इन मेनी सिटीज डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ शॉप, लाइक आपका हो गया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्रीज एंड प्लेसेस ऑफ एंटरटेनमेंट वेयर ऑब्जर्व इन डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ द सिटी। Due to urban regeneration and gentrification, sometimes more expensive property can be found in formerly low class housing areas. ये सब उनके क्रिटिज्म थे। ठीक है, देन नेक्स्ट है आपका सेक्टर मॉडल। सेक्टर मॉडल क्या है? सेक्टर मॉडल इज डिस्क्राइब बाय द इकोनॉमिस्ट फोमर हॉयट इन 1895 टू 1984। उन्होंने कब इसको डिस्क्राइब किया था? 1939 में। इसमें उन्होंने क्या बताया था? इट इज अ मॉडल ऑफ द यूएस सिटी बेस्ड ऑन सेक्टर्स। सेक्टर मॉडल इज ऑल्सो नोन एज हॉयट मॉडल और हॉयट sector model. It is an urban land use model which talks about spatial arrangements of activities in an urban area. Suppose your big cities and town have always been an area of research and have caught the attentions of scholars and academicians. According to Hoyt, he gave sector model, which is also known as Hoyt model, in 1939, which explains in this model he explains that how cities grew and the activities arrange themselves in the form of concentric zone. The sector model is typically boiled down to a five-sector diagram representing Hoyt extensive study। इनका जो मॉडल था इन्होंने इस तरह से किया था, जैसे कि हमने पहला वाले में देखा बर्जेस मॉडल में, उसमें क्या है, सीधा उन्होंने जलेबी की तरह गोल गोल घुमाया, एक को सीवीडी रखा, जोन 1, जोन 2, जोन 3, जोन 4, जोन 5 कर दिया। ठीक है, लेकिन उसके बाद हॉयट ने स्टडी किया उसी कॉन्सेंट्रेटिक, उन्होंने अपना रिसर्च करके उन्होंने इस तरह से मॉडल बनाया। पहले उन्होंने रखा सीबीडी, देन सेकंड रखा फैक्ट्री हो गया, आपका इंडस्ट्री हो गया, थर्ड रखा उन्होंने लो क्लास इंडस्ट्री रेसिडेंशियल, फोर्थ में मिडिल क्लास रेसिडेंशियल, फिफ्थ में रखा उन्होंने हाई क्लास रेसिडेंशियल एरिया। तो सीबीडी में क्या होता है, सीबीडी में उन्होंने जो हब रखा, कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी का हब, जहाँ पे मतलब जो होता है ना कि अर्बन एरिया का एक सेंटर होता है, अर्बन एरिया का जो सेंटर होता है जहाँ से हम सब चीजें कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी फुल फ्लेज में कर सकते हैं। इट इज डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड, आपका रिवर के साथ होगा, रेल रोड के साथ होगा, लैंड बॉर्डर टू ऑल द सेक्टर्स। लैंड वैल्यूज आर very high, so there is a lot of vertical growth. The downtown often contains the headquarters of major banks and insurance companies, state and local government departments and commercial retail headquarters. Second में है factories हो और आपका industries. The factories and industrial sector is aligned directly along railroads and rivers that serve as transportation corridors connecting rural areas and other urban areas to CBD. ठीक है, ये जो फैक्ट्री इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर है वो किसी तरह से रेल रोड से भी कनेक्टिविटी हो, रिवर से भी हो और सीबीडी से भी कनेक्टिविटी हो। दे कैन क्विकली रिसीव द मटेरियल्स नीडेड, जैसे आपका फ्यूल हो गया, रॉ मटेरियल हो गया, ठीक है, एंड शिप प्रोडक्ट अनवर्ड्स। दिस जोन इज एसोसिएटेड विथ एयर पॉल्यूशन, वाटर पॉल्यूशन, नॉइज पॉल्यूशन एंड अदर फॉर्म ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल कंटामिनेशन। थर्ड है आपका लो क्लास रेसिडेंशियल। Low class residential is also known as working class housing. ठीक है, वर्किंग क्लास हाउसिंग, इसमें क्या होता है, सम ऑफ द हाउसिंग इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ इनर सिटी नेबरहुड, बट इट आल्सो हैज रूम टू एक्सपांड आउटवर्ड एज द सिटी ग्रोस। लोएस्ट कॉस्ट होता है हाउसिंग का एंड इट इज लोकेटेड इन द मोस्ट एनवायरमेंटली वनरेबल एंड कंटामिनेटेड एरिया। There is a high percentage of rental properties, low transportation cost, attract worker to nearby job in the secondary sector and tertiary sector. This area is appreciated by long-term issues of poverty, racial and other form of discrimination and substantial health and crime problem. फोर्थ है आपका मिडिल क्लास रेसिडेंशियल। इसमें क्या होता है, हाउसिंग फॉर द मिडिल क्लास इज द लार्जेस्ट सेक्टर बाय द एरिया where it flanks both the low class and high class. Low class और high class के अंदर middle class है। This sector while directly connected to the CBD. While the low class residential sector has many push factor. Push factor क्या होता है? पुश फैक्टर क्या होता है, पुल फैक्टर क्या होते हैं? पुश फैक्टर पता है क्या होता है? किसी को पता है पुश फैक्टर क्या होता है?
मैम इसमें नेगेटिव कंडीशन होती है जो।
नहीं नहीं, नेगेटिव तो नहीं है। जैसे कि पुश फैक्टर, सपोज तुम हो केंद्रापड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, ठीक है, तुम्हें पुश फैक्टर, तुम आ रही हो अर्बन, अर्बन पे तुम्हें आना है, किस कारण से तुम वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट छोड़ के आए। पुश मतलब जैसे कि तुम्हें पता है कि यहाँ पे एजुकेशन फैसिलिटीज अच्छा है सिटी में, यहाँ पे एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज है
मैम सब फूड
और
फैक्ट्री में जाएगा ना, उसमें तो जो जैसे
अच्छा
कि
सॉरी, हाँ यस,
पॉलिटिकल
पुश में, हाँ हाँ समझ में, ये पुल है। पुश में जैसे कि आपका आएगा जैसे कि कुछ नेचुरल डिजास्टर हो गया, तुम्हें अलग सडन तुम्हें वहां से आके आना पड़ेगा। पुल फैक्टर में आ गया आपका जैसे कि सिटी में जैसे कि स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग हाई है, उनका एंटरटेनमेंट है, एवरीथिंग है, तो उससे क्या होता है ना, लोग क्या करते हैं, माइग्रेट होके रूरल से अर्बन आते हैं। और पुश पुश फैक्टर आपको किसी भी कारणवश जबरदस्ती, जैसे कि एक गांव में जैसे कि कुछ भी कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेज हो जाता है, तो क्या करते हैं, जैसे कि कोस्टल फ्लड्स हो गया, नेचुरल डिजास्टर हो गया, तो उनका लैंड रहता नहीं है, तो वो पुश फैक्टर में आते हैं सिटी की ओर फॉर सेवरल अपॉर्चुनिटीज। क्योंकि ज्यादातर बेसिकली क्या होते हैं, जो गांव में रहते हैं उनका प्राइमरी ऑक्यूपेशन ही ज्यादा रहता है एग्रीकल्चर। अगर कुछ भी कभी भी नेचुरल डिजास्टर आ गया और उनकी लैंड भी कभी चली जाती है, तो उन लोग क्या करते हैं, उन लोग मूव आउट करते हैं टुवर्ड्स द सिटी लाइफ। Push factors that encourage people to leave once they are economic able to do so. The middle class residential sector has many amenities that attract people with the means to afford housing. Neighborhoods tend to be safe and clean with good school and easy access to transportation. It takes longer for residents to commute to job in CBD or factories, but the increased transport cost is often seen as worth the trade offs in terms of quality of life. High class residential क्या होता है? High class residential sector is the smallest but most expensive real estate sector. It is flanked on both sides by the middle class residential sector and stretches from the CBD outward to the edge of the city along a streetcar or railroad line. This sector has the most desirable living conditions and is exclusionary, meaning it is impossible for people of limited means to live there. It contains the most prominent homes, often with substantial surrounding, exclusive clubs, private schools, and universities, and other amenities. It serves as a source of income for residents of low-class residential sector who are employed in local home. सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है इसका एडवांटेज क्या है इसमें है इकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स प्लस इकोनॉमिक रेंट कंसेप्ट टू एक्सप्लेन द लैंड यूज पैटर्न स्ट्रेस ऑन द रोल ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट रूट ये जो सिग्निफिकेंस है ये मैं पढ़ाऊंगी कल ये जो है इसमें कुछ कुछ है जैसे कि इकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर है इकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर वहां पे बताना पड़ेगा क्या क्या चीजें इकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर है उसके साथ क्या एडिंग होता है इकोनॉमिक रेंट ये सब कंसेप्ट लिमिटेशन लिमिटेशन मीन्स इसका नेगेटिव क्या है नेगेटिव है ओनली रेलवे लाइन्स आर कंसिडर्ड फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ सेक्टर्स एंड डू नॉट मेक अलाउंसेस फॉर प्राइवेट कार्स इट इज ए मोनोसेंट्रिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ सिटीज multiple business centers are not accounted for in this model. Physical features may be restrict or direct growth along specific wedges. No reference to out of the town development. लास्ट है आपका मल्टीपल न्यूक्ली थ्योरी multiple nuclei theory was proponent by the urban geographer Edward Ullman and Chauncey Harris created the multiple nuclei model in 1945. ये जो तीनों मैंने मॉडल पढ़ाया ये कब उन्होंने किया था प्रोपाउंड किया था और किसने कौन सा अर्बन ज्योग्राफी ने इसको किया था ये थोड़ा तीन याद रख लेना कंसेंट्रेटिक जोन मॉडल sector model multiple nuclei theory it is a model of US city that improves on two influential but limited models the Hoyt from 1939 and the Burgess in 1925 all three models are associated with the Chicago School of Urban Sociology and are intend to aid urban planners, government and the private sector. Multiple nuclei model क्या किया था? A US urban geography model that describe city with the more than one center. It is based on the following premises. पहला था some types of economic activities have to have their own location. Second था economic activities attract other economic activities to their location. Third था certain economic activities exclude other economic activities. Fourth economic activities cannot afford real estate in certain area. ये जो डायग्राम है हरीश उलमैन ने उन्होंने 9 जोन में डिवाइड किया था सिटी को पहला तो है जो सेंट्रल बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो पूरा हल्का पिंक कलर का शेड है वो है आपका सीबीडी रेड वन इज योर होलसेल मार्केट और लाइट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मार्केट थर्ड है येलो वाला जो लाइट शेड इन येलो दिस इज आउटलाइंग बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट देन आपका फोर्थ है लो क्लास रेसिडेंशियल जो पिंक कलर का है, डार्क शेड इन पिंक कलर, इन ग्रीन कलर मीडियम क्लास रेसिडेंशियल, in deep yellow high class residential, blue color in the bottom point residential suburb, then in blue color in the left side your heavy manufacturing industries, then in black color in the topmost in left side industrial suburb. इनका भी वही है सीबीडी सीबीडी जैसे कि ओरिजिनल फीचर्स उनका मेन सेंटर जो था द मेन बस एंड ट्रेन स्टेशन आर हियर बिकॉज CBD is the most accessible place to be located if you want to sell people things. This influence the fact that the CBD has the highest land values in the city. You will likely see the most expensive shop here. CBD have many more retail store, but they also contain the headquarters of numerous companies, particularly in the financial services, industries, government buildings are also found here, and some high-rise apartments. There are also restaurant and other services establishment for the large workers. Then second है आपका wholesale and light manufacturing industries. It is attached with to the CBD. It is a separate district for light manufacturing and wholesale warehouse that compromises business that cannot pay the high rents of CBD but need to be close to the hubs of long distance transportation such as your river line, rail lines, highway, lakes or sea coast, and it is accessible to workers. Third है heavy manufacturing. Heavy manufacturing में means it is the district is partially separated from all other districts. Expect low class residential because it requires a lot of space and produce a lot of noise, environmental contaminations and other issues that make surrounding land values relatively low. This district just need to be located along main transportations line. Low class residential, the people with the least income reside in this district, the only advantage of which are its proximity to employment in the CBD and manufacturing zones. The many disadvantages include various form of pollutions and the risk of environmental hazards like flooding. मीडियम क्लास रेसिडेंशियल में क्या है दिस इज द लार्जेस्ट district in any US city and tends to connect to most other districts. It is on much better land than low class residential. High class residential में this district is the farther from the city than middle class neighborhoods and is not connected spatially to the CBD. आपका फिफ्थ है आउटलाइन बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट आउटलाइन बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट दिस इज ए न्यू सिटी centers appear as US cities grows that is the new city centers appear many but not all of these are minor in size compared to the CBD. They may include district around universities, hospital, airports, recreational zones, and so forth. One of the assumption of the multiple nuclei model is that like attract like different ripples, different economic activities that bring down land values such as your airport is a university which tend to increase surrounding land value will not be located near airports till they very well may be located next to recreational area as well as small business district with shop and restaurant. Then है आपका residential suburb. One of the features of US city is suburbia. Suburbia. Suburb emerged in the 20th century with the widespread availability of private automobiles. People left undesirable condition in cities and moved to outlying areas with more space, cleaner air, lower crime. and so forth. There are many types of residential suburbs for people of all income level, and most are oriented towards outlying business district. नेक्स्ट है आपका इंडस्ट्रियल सबर्ब. इंडस्ट्रियल सबर्ब में क्या है? द मल्टीपल न्यूक्लियर मॉडल रिकॉग्नाइज दैट some suburbs of major city focus on industrial productions that may be cheaper, जैसे कि for example lower taxes or easier, closer to less congested transit route for businesses to carried out than in the neighboring major cities. This is the case with Indiana, an industrial suburb of Chicago. Main advantage of multiple nuclear models are over earlier's model is that it is based on the dominance of the private automobile and the road network that were built in and around city to maximize the efficiency of commuting and other automobile focused activities. Little has changed in this respect since the model was developed at the end of World War II. एग्जाम्पल कौन कौन से सिटीज हैं मल्टीपल न्यूक्लियर मॉडल के? Based on Chicago, Illinois, a city that outgrew its CBD and original industrial district. The first industrial zone in Chicago was adjacent to the CBD along with Chicago River. As Chicago grew to be one of the world's largest city, another major industrial zone developed along the south shore of Lake Michigan in an Calumet district, which includes northwestern Indiana industrial suburb like Gare and Indiana. ये आपका था इतना. और जो जो आपके चैप्टर्स 1 में है, ये तो मैंने थोड़ा बहुत पीपीटी बनाया था. जो आपके चैप्टर 1 में है, जैसे कि ब्लॉक 1 के अंदर जितने 4-5 हैं, उसको मैं आफ्टर 5 मिनट्स आपका स्टार्ट करती हूँ. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
आफ्टर 5 मिनट्स आई विल स्टार्ट.
Madam, I have a doubt. It is written the districts are spatially separated. What is the meaning of spatially separated means?
टेल मी.
Madam, the spatially separated means what?
Spatially या spatially? SPATIALLY.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Spatially separated, not spatially, spatially. Spatially is related to our space. जैसे कि what is written that district, district, please read that
Uh,
sentence.
it is written the district is heavy manufacturing. The district is
Yes.
spatially separated from all other districts except the low class residential because it requires a
Hmm.
lot of space and produces a lot of noise.
Space. वो वाला जो
Environmental.
डिस्ट्रिक्ट है वो स्पाशियली सेपरेटेड है। स्पाशियली सेपरेटेड मतलब जैसे कि सीबीडी है, सीबीडी से जो लग के जो 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 जैसे कि जोन 1 है सीबीडी, जोन 2 आपका जो भी है वो जिस तरह से लग के है, ये वाला डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो है स्पाशियली उनके साथ कनेक्टेड नहीं है। दिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट आर इंटरकनेक्टेड, उनके साथ लिंक नहीं है। स्पाशियली मीन्स स्पेस से वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट सेपरेटेड है, वो जोन, वो जोन एरिया।
Okay, ma'am. Madam, how questions will come? Will it come directly about the theories?
हम्म, क्या हुआ बोलो।
How the questions will come based on the theories?
It will be, I think, it will be depend, maybe they just name it, explain the Burgess model or explain the crystallar central place theory, discuss about the central place theory, locational theory or growth pole model. Direct question, no issue.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
स्टार्ट करती हूँ अभी। कुछ यूनिट 1 में आपका जैसे कि इंट्रोडक्ट मीनिंग एंड स्कोप ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी में जैसे कि फील्ड ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी, ये वाला मैंने पीपीटी में मेंशन नहीं किया था। अर्बन ज्योग्राफी के फील्ड्स, ठीक है। यहाँ पे आपके जो स्टडी मटेरियल है वहाँ पे पेज नंबर 11 में अर्बन ज्योग्राफी इट विल बी मेंशन दैट फील्ड ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। अर्बन ज्योग्राफी इज रिलेटेड टू वेरियस
मैम ଗୋଟେ
fields।
क्वेश्चन थिला
या
ଗୋଟେ क्वेश्चन थिला
हाँ कुहतु।
मैम आपण जो तीनटा थियोरी एबे कहले सेटा
हम्म,
फास्ट हाफ ऑफ द 20th सेंचुरी तो एबे से तीनटा थियोरी कंटेम्पोरारी रेलेवेंस कार अधिक अछि।
ଅଧିକ ଅଛି ଆମର ଆର ଯୋଉ ବର୍ଜେସ୍ ମଡେଲଟା। ये जो concentratic zone theory टा
ओके ओके मैम
field of urban start କରିବି ନା ଆଉ କିଛି ଅଛି ମତେ message କରିଦବ group ରେ
ओके मैम
field of urban geography रे urban geography is deal with the many subfields suppose ଯେମିତି କି ତମର ବହୁତ ଗୁଡେ fields ଅଛି ଯେମିତି social geography ରେ ଆମେ ପଢୁ social spatial structure it will also है urban geography transport geography ତମର mobility accessibility ଏଇଟା ବି urban geography ରେ ଆସିବ recreation geography ତମେ study material page number 11 ଟା ଦେଖିବ ତା ଦେହରେ ସେ ପୁରା ଭଲ ସେ
Actually,
ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମ
server
କରିଛି
down ଅଛି
ସବୁ
study material access ହେଇପାରୁନି।
କାହିଁକି ହେଇପାରୁନି ମୁଁ ଲିଙ୍କ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଲିଙ୍କ ପଠେଇଦେବି ଷ୍ଟଡି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ର ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ମାନେ ହେଇଯିବ ଡାଉନଲୋଡ ଇଜିଲି କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ହେଲା ସେଇଥିରେ ତାପରେ ମେଡିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ପଲିଟିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ମାର୍କେଟିଂ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଇକୋନୋମିକ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ୱେଲଫେୟାର ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି କଲଚରାଲ କ୍ୱାଣ୍ଟିଟେଟିଭ ତାପରେ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଅଫ ହାଉସିଂ ରିସୋର୍ସ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଫିଜିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ରିଜନାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ଅର୍ବାନ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ସହିତ ଡିଲ୍ କରିଛି ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହିବୁ ଫିଜିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ହାଉ ଦି ଫିଜିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଡିଲ୍ ୱିଥ ଦି ଅର୍ବାନ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଫିଜିକାଲ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଅର୍ବାନ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ସହିତ କେମିତି କନେକ୍ଟେଡ ଅଛି ତ it will deal with your urban site conditions, tomorrow environmental hazards. In that way, the urban geography is linking to the physical geography. Then how it is linking to the resource management? Resource management हम लोग दिखा सकते हैं कि sustainable development किस तरह से होता है for the future city. ठीक है देन ज्योग्राफी एंड प्लानिंग में किस तरह से डील है जैसे कि सेटलमेंट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से किस तरह से होता है उनका फॉर्म्स क्या है उनका फंक्शंस क्या है देन कल्चरल ज्योग्राफी में आप दिखा सकते हो उसमें रिप्रेजेंटेशंस ऑफ अदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ जेंडर हो गया आपका इतनी सिटी हो गया हाँ मैं रिसोर्स का लिंक भेज दूंगी अभी नहीं मेल में है मैं भेज दूंगी आप लोगों को क्लास खत्म होने के बाद मैं भेज दूंगी स्टडी मटेरियल का लिंक ये सब आपका अर्बन ज्योग्राफी के फील्ड्स है ये भी कभी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है डिस्कस द मेजर फील्ड्स ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी एंड हाउ दे आर इंटर लिंक टू ईच अदर किस तरह से वो इंटरलिंक है एक दूसरे से ठीक है ये है और एक क्या है हाँ इसमें जो बुक्स में है पेज नंबर 13 इसमें दिया है चेंजिंग अप्रोचेस इन अर्बन ज्योग्राफी what I have told you in my PPT approaches in urban geography I have told about only three लोकेशनल था अप्रोच एंड स्पाशियल अप्रोच एंड थर्ड वन इज तीन अप्रोचेस थे लेकिन इसमें आपका जो बुक में है स्टडी मटेरियल में आपका दिया है पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म अप्रोच ह्यूमनिज्म अप्रोच पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म अप्रोच स्पाशियल एनालिसिस अप्रोच देन बिहेवियरल अर्बन ज्योग्राफी अप्रोच पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच क्या होता है व्हाट इज पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच ये अप्रोच में क्या होता है इट इज एन ज्योग्राफिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशन टू नो टू मोर ये जो ज्योग्राफिकल इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता है थ्रू साइंटिफिक and the positivism was adopted which is characterized by focusing on scientific method based on hypothesis testing हो गया आपका statistical interference हो गया am I audible
Ma'am.
hello yes then statistical interference हो गया आपका ये सब आपका थ्योरी कंस्ट्रक्शन हो गया ये सब आपके रिलेटेड है पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच के in this approach in urban geography it believes that reality exists outside of our ability as students or scholars to understand it it believes that knowledge can only be produced by rigorous empirical observation of repeatedly co-occurring events connected with generalizing theories building though हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग, ये है आपका पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच। सेकंड है आपका स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म अप्रोच। ये क्या है? स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म क्या होता है? स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म एग्री विथ पॉजिटिविज्म that the broad realities can be understood by human inquiry but disagree on the fact that detached observation of repeatedly co-occurring events can produce knowledge. It can believe that structured realities that resist easy measurement cannot be directly observed. ह्यूमनिज्म अप्रोच में क्या है? ह्यूमनिज्म अप्रोच में ये बेसिकली फोकस करते हैं आपका एक्सपीरियंस रेदर देन साइंटिफिकली। ह्यूमनिज्म अप्रोच में हम एक्सपीरियंस को बेस्ड करते हैं, साइंटिफिकली हम पॉजिटिविज्म अप्रोच में टेस्ट करते हैं। इट इज प्राइमरीली फोकस्ड ऑन आपका एटीट्यूड हो गया, आपका परसेप्शंस हो गया, आपका वैल्यू टुवर्ड्स प्लेस एंड द लैंडस्केप इंस्टेड ऑफ थियोरेटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव एंड हाइपोथेसिस टेस्टिंग। देन आपका फोर्थ है पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म अप्रोच। दिस अप्रोच rejects the idea of ultimate truth can be discovered that can be generalized. Post structuralism offers a variety of objective for human quest. Post-structuralism holds that there are realities which are based on the geographic or historic setting. In the due course of time, many latest approach have been adopted by urban geographers. कौन कौन से अभी लेटेस्ट अप्रोचेस हुए हैं? जैसे कि आपका स्पाशियल एनालिसिस अप्रोच हुआ है और एक है बिहेवियरल अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। स्पाशियल अप्रोच में क्या होता है? दिस वाज द फर्स्ट अप्रोच टू डोमिनेट द डोमेन ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। It is primarily based on the tools and the theories of neoclassical economists with presumed rationality of human behavior. It is defining characteristics of spatial analysis research in urban geography in the use of statistical and mathematical models, a methodology also adopted in most other social, biological and physical sciences. ये है आपका स्पेशल एनालिसिस अप्रोच। बिहेवियरल अर्बन ज्योग्राफी में क्या है? इट इज द स्टडीज हाउ ए पर्सन मेक स्पाशियल डिसीजन by following the positivism approach used by spatial analysis. Behavioral geography challenge the basic assumption of rationality and emphasizes individual attitude and expectations of place. Behavioral geography shares the idea associated with sociology. और एक है आपका मार्क्सिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। मार्क्सिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी क्या है? फेमिनिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी, पोस्ट मॉडर्न अर्बन ज्योग्राफी। मार्क्सिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी, इसमें इसका मेन एम है टू अंडरस्टैंडिंग द कैपिटलिस्ट प्रोडक्शन स्ट्रक्चर एंड एनालाइज द अंडरलाइंग कॉज ऑफ पॉवर्टी इन urban areas, inequality among classes, discriminations against different sections of society, and unequal access to basic amenities and urban social service. It is believed that understanding structural root to complex social problems is an important tool for revolutionary social transformation. ये था आपका मार्क्सिस्ट। फेमिनिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी क्या है? फेमिनिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी मीन्स द जेंडर स्टडीज एंड feminist theory made its successful association in geographical research in the 1970s. Feminist urban geography is associated with the development of urban geography, which is based on the theory of gender, race, and class. It is believed that understanding structural root to complex social problems is an important tool for revolutionary social transformation. ये था आपका मार्क्सिस्ट। फेमिनिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी क्या है? फेमिनिस्ट अर्बन ज्योग्राफी मीन्स द जेंडर स्टडीज एंड with structuralist character, which explores the link between patriarchy and capitalism in the context with the role assigned to women for the responsibility of social reproduction. It linked with urban spatial structure. It, it introduced
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
in the discipline of geography by the work of Michael Deere and E.D. Soja in 1980s. This approach rejects science as the only valid way to generate knowledge. In postmodernism was a cultural centric rejection of the perceived sterility and anonymity of spatial analysis and overbearing geographical information system GIS as a geography. Remarkably enhance the tackle the upcoming urban field or approaches, then आपका जो यूनिट 2 में है डेवलपमेंट एंड अप्रोचेस इन अर्बन ज्योग्राफी डेवलपमेंट एंड अर्बन ज्योग्राफी में जैसे कि यहाँ पे आपके मतलब स्टडी मटेरियल में दिया है जैसे कि डेवलपमेंट और अर्बन ज्योग्राफी में उन्होंने सेग्रीगेट कर रखा है कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ यूरोपियन स्कॉलर के क्या क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन थे अर्बन ज्योग्राफी को देन एंग्लो अमेरिकन कंट्रीब्यूशन देन कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इंडियन स्कॉलर्स ये है जैसे कि फर्स्ट वन इज योर कंट्रीब्यूशंस ऑफ यूरोपियन स्कॉलर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ यूरोपियन स्कॉलर्स में फर्स्ट है आपका जर्मन स्कॉलर्स में आपके Friedrich Ratzel was one of the most prominent geographer during 1880s in Germany. He was appointed on the chair of geography in the University of Leipzig in 1886, a good example of the methodology of this first generation of geographers was his treatise Die Geographie Large der Gorbe study. It is in French word, is in Germany word, it is written. इसका मतलब है the geographical location of large city. Another geographer, Richthofen, in 1896, he presented the definition of towns. Hetner presented the interrelationship between the economy, culture, and development of towns. He gave the functional classification of towns and explained how towns vary as per their function. ये थे आपके जर्मन स्कॉलर हाँ जर्मन स्कॉलर में और एक है आपके वॉल्टर क्रिस्टलर इन्होंने अपना जो फील्ड ऑफ अर्बन ज्योग्राफी में उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन था 1933 में सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी ये एक इम्पोर्टेंट है मैं पढ़ाऊंगी इसको सेंट्रल प्लेस थ्योरी which was based on the distribution of settlement in South Germany. This theory not only demonstrated central place but also presented various ideas related to population of town, its size, shape of the area and their interrelationship. नेक्स्ट है आपका फ्रेंच फ्रेंच में कौन कौन से ज्योग्राफर थे जिनका कंट्रीब्यूशन था फ्रेंच में था इन द ईयर 1911 फ्रेंच ज्योग्राफर राउल Blanchard presented a study of the factors affecting the development of towns and found out that location play most crucial role in a town's development. इन्होंने बताया था और एक ज्योग्राफर थे एम Arosio presented the first general review of urban geography in 1924. He used quantification to categorize the towns. He puts town in two groups, first with basic function and second with non-basic function. और एक geographer थे in 1948 F. George. He presented a well-admired text Les Villes, which is known as the first classical handbook of the French urban geography, where urban functions were depicted in details. He put the subject into three groups. One is function of town, second is urban landscape and its evolution, third is relation with the outer areas. नेक्स्ट है आपका ब्रिटिश ब्रिटिश ज्योग्राफर का क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन था इन 1947 टाउन एंड कंट्री प्लानिंग एक्ट 1947 में जो एक टाउन कंट्री प्लानिंग एक्ट हुआ था उसमें एक ब्रिटिश ज्योग्राफर Patrick Geddes started the study of town planning and suggested that urban geography is the study of interrelationship between the city and its socio psycho sorry physio social environment. Means another person who made an outstanding geographical contribution to planning was Leonid Dolly-Stamp, who single-handedly launched the Land Utilization Survey of Great Britain. In 1940s, Diction in city and in the towns, he presented the four major problems related to towns. क्या problems थे? First one is the study of physical and cultural factors, which is responsible in the origin of settlement. Second one is reaction in perspectives of historical events on the spatial setup or aerial and functional structure of this. हेलो हेलो
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ एम ऑडिबल
ଆଜ୍ଞା
Yes, ma'am.
केतବେଳେ कटिगला ମୁଁ ଜାଣିପାରିଲିନି लिंक ଟା फेलियर केतବେଳେ ହେଇଗला
Ma'am, 10 minute ହେଇଗଲା 5 minute ହେଇଛି।
5 ମିନିଟ୍ ହେଲାଣି लिंक फेलियर ହେଇଯାଇଛି ओ माय गॉड
ଆଜ୍ଞା ma'am।
अच्छा अच्छा ମୁଁ एक्चुअली ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଥିଲି ମୁଁ जस्ट एमती कला बेलू लिंक काहे आसुनी देखला बेलू फेलियर इट्स ऑलरेडी फेलियर ओके ओके नो इश्यू ମୁଁ କୋଟା କୋଟା ପଢେଇଥିଲି एंग्लोटा पढ़ेई ଦେଇଥିଲି ନା अमेरिकन टा पढ़ेଇଥିଲି अमेरिकन इंडियन टा देखिछो कि इंडियन
ନା ନା
कंट्रीब्यूशन हाँ इंडियन
ନା ma'am।
कंट्रीब्यूशन टा ମୁଁ ପଢେଇଛି ସେତେବେଳେ लिंक ଟା फेलियर ମାନେ फेलियर ହେଇଯାଇଛି ମୋ ସାଇଡରୁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣି ପାରିନି जर्मन पढ़ेଇଛି फ्रेंच पढ़ेଇଛି ब्रिटिश पढ़ेଇଛି एतिକି ଜାଣିଛ
ଆଜ୍ଞା।
हाँ एंग्लो अमेरिकन टा जोटा पढ़ेଇଛି ସେଇଟା ବୋଧେ जो हरी सुलमैन टा पढ़ेଇली 1945 ରେ ସେଇଟା
ଏଇଟା ସରିଛି ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
हाँ ତାହେଲେ कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इंडियन स्कॉलर जोटा ମୁଁ ପଢଉଥିଲି ସେତେବେଳେ ହିଁ लिंक फेलियर ହେଇଯାଇଛି ମୁଁ ଜାଣି ପାରିନି ହେଲା
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ତା ଭିତରେ ଯେମିତି ହଁ ମାଡ୍ରାସ ସ୍କୁଲ ଅଫ ଅର୍ବାନ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ଅଛି କାଲକାଟା ସ୍କୁଲ ଅଛି ବନାରସ ଅଛି ତମର ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡା ଅଛି ହେଲା ଆକୁ ଷ୍ଟଡି କରିବ ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଥିଲା ନା ଗୋଟେ ଏମଏସଜି ର ଗ୍ରୁପ ଅଛି ମୁଁ ତା ଦେହରେ କିଛି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଗୁଡା ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦଉଛି ତମମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେଇଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖିଦବ ହେଲା ସେଇଥିରେ ମତେ କହିଦିଅ ମୁଁ ଏବେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଗୁଡା ସବୁ ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦଉଛି ପିପିଟି ଆଣ୍ଡ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ସବୁ ଯାକ
ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଛି।
ହଁ ହଁ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ହିଁ ଗ୍ରୁପ
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ପିପିଟି
ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ
ଟା
ରେ ହିଁ
ବି
ଗ୍ରୁପ ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ହିଁ ହେଇଛି ଗ୍ରୁପ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଛି ସେଇଥିରେ ମୁଁ କିଛି ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଗୁଡା ତମମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେଣ୍ଡ କରିଦେବି ତାକି ତମେ ତାକୁ ସବୁ ଦେଖିଦବ ଟିକେ ଭଲସେ ଦେଖିଦବ ସେ ସବୁ ମେଟେରିଆଲ୍ସ ଗୁଡାକୁ ଯୋଉଟା ଯୋଉଟା ସ୍କିପ୍ ଅଛି କଣ ଅଛି କୋଉଟା ଡାଉଟ୍ସ ଅଛି କଣ ଅଛି ସେଟା ନେକ୍ସଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ ମତେ ପଚାରିବ ସେ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ମୁଁ ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ ରେ ତମମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ କେହି ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ନାହଁ
ନାଇଁ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆମେ ତ କିଛି ଜଣ ପିଲା ନାହୁଁ ଆମେ।
ମୁଁ ଅଛି ମ୍ୟାଡାମ।
ଗଣେଶ ତମେ ଅଛ
ହଁ
ଆଉ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରିଭିୟସ ଯୋଉ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେଇଥିରେ କଣ ସମସ୍ତେ ଅର୍ବାନ ଜିଓଗ୍ରାଫି ନା ମାନେ କେତେ ଅଛନ୍ତି କେତେ ନାହାନ୍ତି
କନଫ୍ୟୁଜ ହେଇଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ ଏଇଟା ଯୋଉ ଦିଟା ବ୍ୟାଚ୍ ଯୋଉ ଜଏନିଂ ହେଇଛି ସେ ଦିଟା ଛୁଆ ନା ଆମର କେବଳ ସେ ପିଛଲା ଛୁଆ ଅଛନ୍ତି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ନୂଆ ବି ଦେଖୁଛି।
ହଁ
ଦିଟା
ମୁଁ ପଠେଇଦେବି ସେ ଯୋଉ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରୁଛି ପୁରୁଣା ଯୋଉ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଟା ଥିଲା ସେଇଥିରେ ମୁଁ ଇଏଟା ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି ମେଟେରିଆଲ୍ସ ଗୁଡା ଯୋଉମାନେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ନାହାନ୍ତି ସେଥିରେ ଜଏନ୍ ହେଇକି ଏକ୍ସଚେଞ୍ଜ କରିଦବ ନୋଟ୍ସ କାହିଁକି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ଦବା ପସିବଲ ନୁହେଁ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ହେଲେ ଇଜିଲି ଏକ୍ସେସେବଲ ହେଲା ମୁଁ ସେଇ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ କରିଦଉଛି ତମମାନଙ୍କୁ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି ଏମଏସଜି ଯୋଉଟା ହେଇଥିଲା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ସେମିଷ୍ଟାରରେ ଠିକ ଅଛି
ଓକେ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ। ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ପିପିଟି ଟା ବି ଟିକେ
ହଁ କୁହ କଣ ପଚାରୁଛ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ ସେଇଟା ବି ପଠେଇଦେବେ ପିପିଟି ଟା ବି ଟିକେ ପଠେଇଦେବେ।
ଶୁଭା ଯାଉନି ଲିଙ୍କ ଟା ତ ପଠେଇବି ପିପିଟି ଟା
ସେଇଟାରେ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ପଠେଇଦେବେ ଟିକେ କହୁଛି।
ହଁ ପିପିଟି ଟା ବି ପଠେଇଦେବି ଠିକ ଅଛି ପିପିଟି ପଠେଇଦେବି ସେଇ ଇଏଟା ହିଁ ପଠେଇଦେବି ପୁରୁଣା ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ଠିକ ଅଛି ଗଣେଶ ମୁଁ ସେ ପୁରୁଣା ଗ୍ରୁପ ରେ ପଠେଇ ଦଉଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ।
ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି ରଖୁଛି କାଲି 3ଟା କ୍ଲାସରେ ସେଇ ୟୁନିଟ 2 ରେ କଣ ଅଛି ସେଟା ଟିକେ ଦେଖିବା ୟୁନିଟ 2 ର ଆଉ ଯାହା ବି ଲେଫ୍ଟ ଅଛି ୟୁନିଟ 1 ର ସେଟା ମୁଁ ସବୁ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ କରିଦେବି ତାକୁ ଟଚ୍ କରିଦେବି ଠିକ ଅଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମ୍ୟାମ୍।
ହଉ ରଖୁଛି ହଁ